Hello and welcome. This is the FGM live show. My name is Jeremiah Kipainoi. Right away, we are in West Pokot today and lots of amazing people coming in. I see they are ready. Karibuni sana. Domtila, I also see... Okay, we are still losing people, but thank you very much for coming on today. Asanteni sana. This is the FGM live show that comes to you, and today we are right in West Pokot. Again, we are live on Facebook, we are live on Twitter, and we are live on YouTube. Just tune in and we will be able to have a conversation about FGM in West Pokot during COVID-19. First of all, I will not forget that you are able to reach out and comment online on how you on what you think or any questions that you have for the guests we have today. So karibu sana, we really do appreciate that you are here. My name is Jeremiah Kipainoi once again, and remember, we are live on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and did I say all of them? And wherever you get the link from. Karibuni sana from West Pokot. Just a small introduction, and I'm going to bring you to the screen, the four of you. Just a small introduction about who we are having on the show today, and then we will be able to proceed. Karibuni sana, and please, if you are watching from wherever you are, please let me know where you are watching from and how is the FGM and Corona situation where you are. Please welcome our guests today. On my left, representing World Vision, Domtila, representing IREP, and also from the government's department. He's going to tell us who he is today. Karibuni sana to the FGM live show. We start off with Domtila. They said ladies first. A small introduction about yourself.
Hi, Jeremiah. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you well, loud and clear.
Okay, so my name is Domtila Chesang. I'm from West Pokot County. I'm an anti-FGM activist. There's actually some background noise. I don't know where it's coming from, so there's some interference. Okay. Is that from your side? Or
I do not know where that comes from, but it's definitely not from my side.
Okay, so like I said, my name is Domtila Chesang. I'm from West Pokot County. I'm an anti-FGM activist. I work with IREP Foundation, a community-based organization that is based in West Pokot. We advocate for the rights of girls and women in the community. We campaign for the eradication of FGM, child marriages, abduction, among other forms of gender-based violences. I'm so happy to be part of this live talk today to share information and updates as they happen in West Pokot County, especially during this time of coronavirus pandemic that is actually shaking the world. And just to let you know that we're also experiencing very heavy rainfall in West Pokot County, which is also making efforts to stamp out FGM and child marriages a little bit challenging, but we can share that later on in details. So thank you so much.
Thank you very much. I really do appreciate that you're able to brief us on that. Domtila, karibu sana to the FGM live show. Straight to the gentleman, I see you, Titus Kaprom, who is the programs manager at World Vision Kenya in West Pokot. Karibu sana to the FGM live show. Just a small background about you, your work, and what you do at West Pokot.
Thank you so much, Jeremiah. My name is Titus Kaprom. I'm the programs manager for World Vision Kenya, West Pokot. Majorly in West Pokot, World Vision is in 7 wards of West Pokot County, where we are operating on. And we are doing majorly child protection work through education, assisting girls to access education and protecting the children from all violence. Otherwise, I'm so grateful to be part of this team, to be part of the FGM live show, and thank you.
We're super grateful to have you here as well. Thank you very much for joining us today. It's an honor having you here. And for the first time, right here, we have representatives from the Office of the President. Karibu sana, let us know your name and who you represent. And basically, we will be delving into what FGM is like from your perspective. Karibu sana, OCS. We really do appreciate you. We really appreciate having you here today. Karibu sana. All right, I'll just say that again. Karibu sana OCS from West Pokot, representing the office of the president. Just a small brief about yourself before we start. All right, I think you're having audio issues in that regard, but we'll just come back to him as we go on. If you are joining in, please let us know where you're joining in from, and we will be very happy to make sure that you are getting the latest from West Pokot. My name is Jeremiah Kipainoi. This is the NFGM live show in collaboration with Tony Mwebia from the main NFGM, as well as Antonia Sophia from Zinduka. We say asanteni sana for joining in today, and we're just going to stream in straight. And we are going to be talking about issues in regards to recent happenings in Kuria, where in West Pokot, where we have had reported cases of FGM. Remember, you can always chat us up at on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, wherever you're watching this video from, and we will be super glad to run it live for you. So you're just going to take a small break, and then when we come back, we will be talking about FGM and the roles that we are playing in different capacities in West Pokot. Asanteni sana. Welcome once again. This is the FGM Live. Karibu sana from wherever you're watching from. I'm just going to go straight to answering reading some comments I'm already seeing online. I see Billy Otieno joining from Nairobi, but I work in West Pokot. Happy to see my manager, Mr. Titus Kaprom. Greetings from Billy Otieno. I hope you received them well from West Pokot. I see he says received. Wanjiru Wahome says, Domi Cheptula, I have missed you. You know each other. Keep them coming on. I see lots of people and lots of engagement going on Twitter. I see Time for Change saying during this COVID-19 pandemic, many girls are being subjected to FGM in silence. Like other hotspot counties, West Pokot is not spared. Get the facts from the government and activists to do it today during this show. So you people have a responsibility to educate the masses today. We have had issues in regards to FGM in West Pokot, and today we are going to talk about them, what the status is, and if COVID-19 is also affecting you as activists and also government representatives, as well as even organizations in general. So karibuni sana to the FGM live show. I really hope that all of you are now settled and used to the cameras and ready to roll. So Domtila, let's start off with you. Where are we at in regards to COVID-19 in Pokot?
Thank you so much, Jeremiah. Once again, my name is Domtila. For those who just joined the conversation, I also like to share details on coronavirus in West Pokot. Just like the rest of the country is in a state of uncertainty, it is the same case here in West Pokot. We don't know what is going to happen next. Like, we're just depending on the information or the updates from the Ministry of Health, like every other Kenyan. So, I'm happy that most people in West Pokot County are taking the precautions very seriously. For instance, you walk around the town and people are wearing masks. Majority of the people are keeping social distances, and I can comment on one particular precaution, which is the washing of hands, which is being widely practiced across the county.
Yeah.
Every small shop and every place, every social places, you always find like there's a bucket of water and so. So that is something that the community are taking very seriously. We also had a chance to have a discussion on radio, on the community radios in regards to coronavirus. And you can tell from the community that people are aware that there's a very serious disease, we're in a very serious situation, and everybody must take responsibility. So I'm glad to report that West Pokot County, we are taking the coronavirus seriously, and we're also putting the measures into place.
Amazing. Thank you very much for that, Domtila. Straight to you, Titus. How is it like in regards to how your work has been affected also, and also the situation in general, coming from a World Vision perspective? How is it like for you?
Yeah, Jeremiah, the situation has been full of uncertainties, as mentioned by my sisters, Domtila. From our perspective as World Vision, work has not been as usual. Business has not been as usual the way we've been operating. And I'm happy because we are community-based. We are in the interior parts of the county. I'm happy that the communities are also aware. They are very sensitive of the matter. They are also aware. We are also implementing WASH projects. Even before COVID-19, you could go to the interior where we are based and we've been implementing WASH activities. You will realize that even in the homesteads, the communities are having hand washing facilities, whether they are homemade or they are the ones which are purchased from the commercial centers. At least the level of awareness is quite high. But now coming down to the child protection issues, we are members of the county technical team on responding to COVID-19. In fact, as World Vision, as an organization, we've repurposed our budgets to respond to the COVID-19. And we know that we are very aware that issues of child protection, violence against children are maybe ongoing, even in the interior parts of the county, and especially the areas that we always presume to be hotspots on FGM. And even not only FGM, other violences against children are going on. We may not have the right statistics at the moment, but because we have repurposed our budgets, we have put in place plans to ensure that we work with the structures, a strong structure like Area Advisory Council, which is a government structure, which is headed by the chief in the locational levels, to ensure that we get real-time data and reports on violence against children. And on top of the matter is FGM. If FGM is existing, what measures are we going to put in place to ensure that we end FGM in West Pokot County? Thank you.
Thank you very much. We've had lots of reported cases in regards to FGM in West Pokot County, and we've seen so many people even going online and saying that cases are on the rise. Can we confirm that, Bona OCS? And is there something that your office or the police are doing in that regard in West Pokot? Are there any cases, first of all? I'm saying we've had cases of FGM, people saying that there are cases of FGM in West Pokot, and I'm wondering if that has gotten into your office already.
Okay, thank you, Jeremiah. To say that cases of FGM normally get reported to a police station, and once we receive these reports, we investigate. The moment we find that it is true, we arrest those ones who are involved, and then we take them to court. We have several cases which are pending before court, some of which I might not have the authority to talk about them because they are before court already. There are those that we are investigating. There are those which have been finalized in court, and then the accused persons have been taken into prison sentence to serve various terms of sentence, and we are making an impact in this field. And as we do this, there are challenges that we normally face, and I'd like to talk about them. First one being of lack of information. As we all know, is that FGM is actually done secretly. Now that every eye is actually focused on the criminals who are involved in the act, in most cases, who are the parents, and then the real people who actually do the cut. Then there is an issue of culture. So when we are looking at this crime, we find that information about the crime is actually very scanty. We dig deeper to get the information, and it takes time before it is normally verified. Let me say, like nowadays, once girls undergo the cut, normally they don't stay at their homes. You find that they are taken to relatives very far away from the locality where the act has been done, and they keep on moving from one place to another. Like now, if I may give an example of one case where a report was made when we received information of 3 girls who had undergone the cut. So they were taken away from their home to their mother's home. After the cut, they were taken to their aunt's place. As we made the follow-up, we found that they had moved to their elder sister where she is married. So in all this scenario, information is actually needed to come clearly so that we may be able to apprehend the suspect.
I'll just go straight to...
In terms of once...
Can you get me? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, Jeremiah. I think we lost this. Yes.
I think we lost
yes. It's trying to reconnect.
Yes, I'll just go through some of the comments that are coming in over here. I see different people trying to communicate to us. I see Wycliffe Michoki following from Nairobi County. Kudos to the panelists. He says hello, Uncle Tom Afande. He's gone, but we really hope that we are able to hear much more insight from the government perspective in that regard. So I'm still going to keep on reading. I see Irene Cheruto say, I can see you all at Domi Chapatula from IREP Foundation. Lena Sophie says, great project. David Kropp says, good work, guys. I missed the show. Antonia says, I think we lost you a little bit. Yes, I think we lost you for a while, but you have... Yes, we lost for a while, but I'm going to... Yes, I'm saying we lost you for a while. Someone just said kudos to the panelists and said hi. So receive the greetings from Nairobi. Just as we go on, because time is not on our side, we're still going to share with you guys how you're going to reach out to us online, and we will be able to read your comments. So for us, if you want to comment on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Are you getting me?
Yes, we are getting you loud and clear.
Okay, can I now go ahead?
All right, go ahead.
Okay, of the lack of information, the next thing that I was talking about in terms of challenge is that once these cases are proceeded to court, at times witnesses are not willing to come and actually give evidence. And once this one is not realized, a person is actually sentenced on the basis of the evidence that have been adduced before the court. So at one time or another, because people or witnesses are not willing, you find that we lose some of these cases. Then another challenge is the distance. You know that West Pokot has not been developed very much, more especially in terms of roads network. A distance from the station perhaps to locations where these offenses are being committed, at times roads are not passable. At the same time, because of distance from the station, people actually don't come to report. That is a third challenge. Another one is that the cases are normally reported very late. You may find that girls underwent the cut like 3 months ago. So the information comes very late. That is also a challenge in actually prosecuting these cases. And then the fifth one is that the border crossover by criminals. You see, more especially the ladies who perform the cut. The chances of getting them at times are very minimal. They are able to cross to the neighbor country.
Is that Uganda?
And then get it. Yes. Then at times it becomes a problem to get them, more especially during this time of COVID-19, because a movement is normally restricted. And then above all is now the culture, as perhaps Domtira might say, is that, Pokot, actually, these are people who trust and live on their culture so much. So FGM is part and parcel of life. At times they don't see whether there is any mistake done.
All right, I'll cut you short. I'll cut you short, Bonaosi. Yes. So I'll just come back to that, Bonaosi. But let me just cut you short on that. We've had cases of late that have been that were being followed up on in regards to FGM in Pokot County, and you've mentioned something that's very important in that regard. You've mentioned cross-border problems, and we've had that issue even in the show we had yesterday. Where we had issues where sometimes people cross off from Korea, from Loitoktok as well, and they go to Tanzania and they go get cut and come back to Kenya. And I'm just going to throw this back to Domtila, then Titus. We are having a situation here where girls are at home due to the corona pandemic, but now monitoring is difficult because people already are not allowed to move around. As I would assume that would be a challenge the police would be facing at this time in regards to access to information during the cutting season. What are you doing, Domtila, in that regard? And maybe is there a case that's come up that you would like to talk about?
Thank you, Jeremiah. I'll begin with the cross-border FGM, which is a major setback in the campaign to eradicate FGM and child marriage in West Pokot County.
Yeah.
Thank you for bringing that into this discussion, because it's a really big challenge for the activists and organizations working on FGM issues and child marriages.
Yeah.
So as you know, where the OCS works is it's not very far from the border,
Yeah.
the Uganda border.
Yeah.
So we've had cases where girls are subjected to FGM. They was just mentioned that girls are put through FGM,
Yeah.
then they're taken to their aunt's place. But sometimes it can be worse, which is even the normal cases where girls are cut in parts of West Pokot County, and then they are crossed over to Uganda.
Yeah.
Maybe they are taken there to heal, or they run away from the police if they are being pursued.
Yeah.
So I can confirm that I've been involved in such cases whereby I do follow-ups of children who have been abducted. There was a very serious case that happened in 2019 last year of abduction that took place in a place called Kasei, where a Class 8 candidate was abducted violently from her home, and she was taken over to Uganda, never to be found up to date. So the cross-border issue is a major challenge in West Pokot County, especially along the borders of Kenya and Uganda. And just for your information, we have some of the community members who have dual citizenship. They can move to Uganda whenever they want to. They can cross over to Kenya whenever they feel like, because so they can commit crimes left, right, and they just know that they will just get away with it. Because I don't really understand what the government is doing about it, because I remember that case that I'm talking about. I followed that up to the county commissioner's office, and we did everything possible, but up to date, that girl was never rescued. And it's not like in a different world, it's just in Uganda across the border.
Yeah.
So we have such incidences. We also have cases where FGM happens in West Pokot County, and then the culprits cross over to Turkana. So we have that from one community to the other community. So it's something that it needs to be addressed on a very serious note. And we've been having this discussion even at a national level,
Yeah.
where different agencies are coming together to discuss on how to curb the cross-border FGM. But so far, nothing has been done, and we're still having girls living in fear in their own homes. I tell you what, Jeremiah, last week, a girl, another Class 8 candidate, was abducted from a village called, the same village, Kasei, and she was taken over, thanks to the authorities on that side, because she was successfully rescued. But even as we speak now, she can't go back home because she's not safe. So girls are not safe in their own homes. You know, it's better when the culprits are, move around the community, because they can easily be caught.
Yeah.
But when they cross over to Uganda, it seems, according to me, it feels like the government cannot proceed beyond that. You see, so it's so frustrating for us, because if the government, if girls feel like the government that needs to be protecting girls cannot protect girls beyond Kenya, that is very serious. So even for me, I feel like this is something that needs to be addressed. Not just on this discussion on this platform, but on a higher platform. I really hope that this discussion can be taken forward or further into a higher platform. So and about FGM as a general, I think Tate has mentioned that we're having cases that are being reported currently due to coronavirus. I think I mentioned to you that now most places have been cut off because of the very heavy rainfall that are being experienced across the county at the moment. So even as we speak now, it's just about to rain. So some places have been completely cut off. I know most women and girls cannot even access information. So people are stuck in their homes.
Yeah.
We have already received cases where girls have been silently put through FGM. The three cases that the LCS mentioned, I was following up on that case. I even reported it to the Kachiliba SCC that happened last week. The three girls who were put through FGM, and they were taken away from their home, never to be found up to now. We also have another case that was reported to us today from a different area. So I think coronavirus is playing a role in making sure that FGM is finding its way back into the community, despite all the measures and interventions that we put in place before. Because now, after the government announced that schools are not going to be open in May, that looks like, most people are now living with a lot of uncertainties, and there's a lot of hopelessness. Nobody knows when schools are going to be open, next. So most people are like, they've just lost hope, and they have resorted to shortcuts, which includes cutting their girls and marrying them off. I received a call last week from one girl from a place called Panyao. The OCS will know about that because it's part of his area of jurisdiction. The girl was asking me to please to rescue her because her mother was trying to coerce her into going through FGM and marrying her off so she can fetch dowry. So there's a lot of there's a very high level of desperation in the community at the moment. There's no food. People are just struggling to survive. So all these things, I can't say that I can't relate it directly to the coronavirus at the moment, but I know that with time, these things are going to skyrocket. The case of FGM is just going to skyrocket. So unless we do something, unless every other partner, every other stakeholder, shouts out, and otherwise we are going to lose so many of our girls.
I'm just going to go straight to you, Titus. We are in a place where organizations are hardly able to function. And as Domtila has said, there are cases where FGM, there's a possibility that they are going to skyrocket at this time. And we see that, especially during this time in Pokot, we see so many things that have not been happening, like heavy rains, rivers cutting off people. And basically, even looking at the police officers, it's a wide county which is hardly accessible from one place, probably by the police who are manning the whole area, for example. How are you coping with that?
Yes, Jeremiah, thank you. With the myriad of challenges, I still have hope. All is not lost. I think as West Pokot County, we are going through a time in history that is so challenging, where there are floods here. Communication is a problem now from one point to another. You go accessing Central Pokot is an issue. Accessing North Pokot to the farthest end is an issue. But as I said, I still have hope, and I know that FGM will end because we, as much as there are these challenges, we still have the structures, we still have the government in place. We still hold to the fact that the president of this country declared that FGM has to end in the year
by 2022.
By 2022. So we still have that hope, and we still have the structures. Why do I say so? It's because as World Vision, for example, we are hoping that very soon we will be mobilizing partners together. IREP included, my sister Domi, we were discussing with her this morning about the strategies to use. At the moment, it may look, with the COVID-19, it may look complex, but I know technology comes in handy now at such moments where we can utilize platforms like SMS system. We can utilize platforms like for those who can be reached forming WhatsApp groups. We want to utilize such platforms at such an hour of need so that we can be able to get real-time information from the locations, because I believe, Jeremiah, that it is since the president declared that FGM has to end by 2022, it is in job description of every chief, right from assistant chief to the assistant county commissioner to the commissioner, all the way that structure. And the government has put in place what we call the Area Advisory Council. Area Advisory Council is that in every location, the chief is heading a group of people who are reporting on child protection issues, including FGM.
Yeah.
So we want to ensure that as organizations, we come together. This is the time to now pull together our resources so that we can be able to utilize the technological platforms that are there to reach out to ensure that even a village interior in Alale, we can know what is happening, or in Kasei. For example, World Vision presence is in Kasei. Although we have lean staff at the moment in the county, but still with the structures that we put in place, the offices are there, we can still work together. For example, World Vision supported a school in West Pokot called Morpus, which was acting as rescue center. unfortunately, because of the lockdown, because of the coronavirus, all the children who are staying in school, because this school was acting as safe haven for the children who are running away from FGM, and where they could stay in school even during holidays. But because of coronavirus, they have gone home. The school had to release the children, and now we are worried about the whereabouts of those children. But now we are.
There's one thing that I do not understand. Let me just cut you short. There's one thing that I do not understand, Titus. One thing that I do not understand is we've heard repeatedly that we have children being abducted and they are not being found. And I'd just like us to delve into that. Domtila, you talked about that. I've also heard the OCS talk about that, and you also talk about that. Is that a cultural issue or what's happening? Because abduction should actually be a serious issue.
Jeremiah, it is a unique scenario where we are in. It's not even in the culture of Pokot that whenever there is a pandemic or an epidemic of this nature, that such issues should continue. In the culture of Pokot, I'm a Pokot by my community. I'm a Pokot, and I know that since olden days, there has never been a scenario where abductions happen during such a pandemics. This is a season where culturally, if it was still culturally, people are supposed to stay calm and stay indoors and ensure that they even abide to the rules and regulations. But now a scenario where abductions are happening, because they're happening at the moment, like that girl that Domtila shared about in Kasai, who is now housed by the chief at the moment. He is safe at the chief's place, but we don't know where will he go next? Where will that girl be taken to next? So it is a unique moment of time.
Domtila, you had something to say in that regard, very briefly.
I wanted to mention a little bit about the culture of abduction. I remember when I was growing up, the culture of abduction used to be there, but with the time, I think it just disappeared. But like I said, it's finding its way back into the community. So it used to be one of the cultural practices done by the Pokot community, and it is a very, very violent and silent kind of cultural practice. At least we have FGM and child marriage being discussed in different platforms. But when it comes to abduction, even the community themselves tend to ignore and actually try to normalize it as just one of the issues that's been happening in the community.
Yes.
But it's one of the very violent and extreme form of child abuse that is happening in the West Pokot County or among the Pokot community. It's I think I can just describe it. I can just explain to you in a second. This is how it happens. Like a girl could be sleeping and a group of men will just mobilize and come to the home of the girl. You know, they can storm in and forcefully, violently, grab the girl and like run away with her. That is what has been happening.
How do the parents take it then? Because I would assume that how would the parents take it then? Because I would assume that this is something that should be reported to the highest.
You see, in the community, girls sleep with their mothers in the same house in Pokot community. Yeah. So normally, the culprits target maybe the homes where maybe the father is a little bit old or is not at home, and most Pokots are polygamous men, so they strategize the abduction. Like they don't just do it; they plan for it very well. They can even time when the father is away from that home, so they abduct the girl. So in most cases, the parents are against it. That is why they resort to abduction, because if the parents were for it, they will just do like child marriage. But if the girl is maybe a school-going girl, so they will decide to abduct that girl because they know that the girl will not accept to be married, or the parents will not accept to be married. Maybe the child is the girl is below 18 years old, so they just decide to use force. And it's actually happening in parts of Kasai. I'm glad the OCS is listening, because Kasai is part of North Pokot. It's not Pokot sub-county where the OCS also works.
Yeah.
So it's a culture that needs to be discussed and it needs to be addressed in a very serious manner.
Yeah.
And just to also add to what Nani was saying, Titus was saying, I understand that there are measures in place, there are interventions in place from different organizations, from different stakeholders, including the government, the police, the administration. But with coronavirus, most activities or most projects have actually been curtailed by coronavirus. We cannot move. We cannot carry out workshops. You can't even hold the rescue centers.
Yeah.
We cannot even host girls. I normally host girls in my house, but I can't take in girls like right now because of my own safety. I already have two in my house. So like for the case of that girl who's being hosted by the chief, the chief called me yesterday and complaining that, what am I supposed to do with her? So there's that issue of safe haven. We have nowhere to put these girls. In case the girls are going to run away from their homes from today henceforth, we have nowhere to put the girls. So this is something that must be addressed very urgently. Girls are going to be at risk of FGM and child marriages and abduction, but they have nowhere to run to.
I'll just cut you short and go to the OCS, Domtila. You had mentioned, Domtila first before you go, you had mentioned that sometimes it feels like the government feels like its hands are tied, especially when it comes to cross-border activities. And I just want to shoot a question to the OCS quickly in that regard. Is the government helpless in regards to abductions such as that? I think we are losing him.
Especially.
All right. I'm sorry, we lost you a little bit. Just come again.
Okay. I'm saying that the government is not incapable of doing things, more especially the running across the border by criminals. We have a way through which we work hand in hand with the security officers of the neighboring countries, but the only challenge that we have now is because of movement which has been restricted because of the coronavirus. After having said that, I could say that in every case which is normally reported, it is followed to its conclusive end. For the cases, or the special one, that one of Kasei, still we are making a follow-up, and eventually we are going to arrest the culprit. The only problem is that the Pokots of North, for instance, they are citizens of Kenya, at the same time citizens of Uganda. When a person runs to Uganda, produces the ID of Uganda, and then it becomes it. And then they also have relatives in those places. Once they get in, they don't get into Uganda's vistas. They just go and interact and integrate with their fellow Pokot members. And then it becomes a little bit difficult because, for instance, something to do with the FGM, which is rooted badly on their cultural practices. So wherever they go, it is actually a sin. The security or the government is looked at as, people who are actually interfering with other people's lives. And as a result of that, it becomes a little bit difficult to get some information. Then there is measures. We are talking of abduction, the abduction of girls. I like to say that abduction, it is in two ways. There is a situation where parents negotiate. Then dowry is actually paid. So manner through which these girls are taken to their new homes now after they have gotten married, it is not, it is kind of abduction. They come and take, but with the authority of the parents open page. But in cases where agreement has not been reached by the parents, but the youths want to take this lady or a girl, this is the time when we normally receive reports. But where the deal has been sealed, you will never hear.
Okay, I'll just cut you short on that, and I'll just bring in a question because we have laws in Kenya. And the prevention of the genital mutilation, the act that was passed in 2011, the prohibition of the practice of FGM, says categorically that a person who commits an offense, being aware that an offense of female genital mutilation is in the process of being or intends to be committed, fails to report accordingly to a law enforcement officer, commits a crime. And as you can see, we are in a situation where parents are taking part in these let me say crimes where children are being abducted and then willingly sometimes negotiating for children who are underage. What do you do as the police officers?
Once we get the report or the information, we act on it by arresting the parents and taking them to court. If you come to the station, for instance, in all of these cases that we have taken to court of FGM, it involves the parents, and more especially those ones who are involved in the cut. Because leave alone a person who allows, even the person who fails to report commits an offense and is liable to prosecution as well. Then from there, a person who houses this girl who has undergone the cut is also a culprit. Once arrested, is normally taken to court. So when it comes to taking action against those ones all involved in the FGM, it is just wholesomely. Each part that a person has played has got a case to answer.
Well, yes, one last question before I let you go. Once I was in Pokot and we had a challenge where we had the chief himself say that he is helpless because he's part of the community and he's not able to address the issue of FGM, and he could see clearly that the girls who are moving along the road just after being cut and going to dance, actually, because I witnessed that, he said, "I'm helpless, I cannot do anything." How do you deal with that, and what do you do? For example, if a chief says, "I am not able to do anything in regards to the girls being cut at this moment"?
Unfortunately, I've never come across such a kind of a chief. But what they are able to do is to give us the information. Because they belong to the community, at times there is that kind of hostility if you report it to the police. But we secretly receive information. When we get it before it happens, we are actually able to stamp it out. And if it happens before we get the information, we make sure that the culprits are actually punished. And then there is this campaign that we do. Police, we do not only prosecute, but we are also involved in the campaign against FGM, giving the information, telling the people what the law says, and chiefs, assistant chiefs, and the village elders are the ones who actually prepare this avenue for us. They organize the barasas, wananchi come, and then we are able to teach them. But for the time being, meetings are not allowed because of the disease. Maybe that is the reason as to why such a kind of crimes are rising, and then there is that act of.
I think we lost him a little bit. Domtila, sorry.
Keeping quiet. Parents, by the parents, most.
Thank you very much, Bwana OCS. I just go straight to Titus as we bring this to a close. We are now headed to very difficult times. We do not know exactly when schools will be opened. We do not know exactly how long the food supplies will run, and how much more spread will happen during this corona pandemic. You talked about redirecting some funds to respond to the corona pandemic during this time. How prepared are you? And what are you doing in that regard?
Yes, thank you so much. I talked about repurposing funds to respond to coronavirus. Remember, World Vision is a child-focused organization, and in our plan, what we shared with in our plan is that we want to work in collaborative manner with the partners to ensure that we get vulnerable cases, especially the households which are more vulnerable, if we can support them with food items at some point. And also most important is to get information on violence against children, because it takes us all to end violence against these children, especially now the organizations that are in West Pokot, the ones that I shared about. So that's the preparations that we have, and we want to utilize also the media. The Pokots have now come up with another new culture of being very keen on getting news from the radio, and we have our local radio stations here. We want to up our game in terms of sensitization, protecting children.
All right. I'm just going to read this and then we'll just bring this to a close. We've lost the OCS. So Wanjiru says, you guys sound so good. Thank you very much, Wanjiru, for the comment. I see Billy Otieno says, Men at FGMC is a brilliant idea. The COVID-19 pandemic has posed several challenges, among them being the new normal. being the new, is it possible to have men who are community agents to end FGMC? Is this possible? Then these men will act as our eye to the FGM through reporting any suspicion to the chief or assistant chief. These men should be our grandsmen who collect information on child protection issues, especially FGM and child marriage. So it's just feedback on what people are saying in regards to what we are talking about. Walter Mondes also says, good work, Bwana OCS. Thank you very much for the feedback. Wanjiro Wahome says, it will also be important to work closely with the Ministry of Education to ensure that all girls will be able to go back to school and we get data on the ones that will be missing out. Every girl counts. Good job, Team West Pokot. Asante sana for joining in today. We want to bring this to a close. And Domtila, I know you've been working in this organization, and we have seen various campaigns happening before and even now during this pandemic. First of all, do you feel hopeless? Second, what are you doing about trying to bring people together in regards to this as we bring this to a close? Domtila. Did you get it?
I think we lost him.
Yes, we lost Jeremiah.
And now?
We lost our host.
All right. So we are just going to go right away, right into a short break. And then when we come back, we will be just having a conversation about what we've had so far and bring this to a close. Remember, this is NFGM Live. My name is Jeremiah Kipainoi, and we are very happy to have you here today. Just joining in, we had lost. Remember, technological issues sometimes happen. So we are really happy to have you back again. Domtila and Titus, we lost the OCS completely. Karibuni tena. We just want to bring this to a close. But before we do so, anything you'd like to bring to a close with in terms of any hopes, any challenges, any thing that you'd like to share to the public right now? Domtila.
Yeah, so I think I'd just like to call upon all stakeholders, especially in West Pokot County, that this is the time for us to up our game. This is the time for us to work together, to unite for a common goal. And as much as we are limited by coronavirus, Titus said all is not lost. So we can, I understand this is not an easy task, it's an uphill task, but if we team up, if we speak with one voice, we are very lucky as a community to have our 3 radio stations located in West Pokot County. We can utilize that. We have been doing it ever since coronavirus outbreak. We have been going on radio. Even this evening, I'll be on radio to educate the community and to about coronavirus and gender-based violences. And I think most importantly, this is also the time for us to even think of other creative ideas. For example, we've been talking to the community about not cutting their girls, the negative effects of FGM, child marriages, and so forth. But it's also the time for us to be out, to put ourselves out there, even as individuals, not just as organizations. This is the time for us to volunteer, to do more than what we normally do. For example, I've given my number out there to the public, call me anytime, anywhere you are. We need to invite girls to report to us cases. It doesn't just have to be the police. It can be you as an individual. We need to be out there. We need to go out there and to look after each other. So we use every avenue, every platform. So it doesn't matter. I know there are people who are watching this show today from the West Pokot County. I am just calling upon it that it takes everybody to eradicate FGM. It's not my responsibility alone. It's your business as well. So what you need to do is that platform, wherever you are, you can speak out against FGM, against child marriages. You can do as little as reporting. Because as you have had, failing to report is a criminal offense. If you know that FGM is happened before, or it's happening, or it might happen a day after, you need to report. So that way we can all make sure that we will come out of coronavirus as victors.
Thank you very much. We only have a few minutes. We only have a few minutes to this. Thank you very much, Domtila, for that kind and also very informative piece. of advice, I'd say, to Titus as we bring this to a close. Any parting shots? And where are we heading to right now?
Yes, thank you so much, Jeremiah. My parting shots are that I want to direct my call to men in Pokot community. I want to call upon you, my friends, and everyone who is listening to me today, that it's important. It takes us all, especially men, should take lead in terms of ending FGM, ending child marriage within our communities. Why do I zero down to men? It's because men are the main decision makers. Somebody said that we are the consumers. If we want a lady who has not been cut, it is the decision of the man. So it is upon us men from Pokot community to up our games and to ensure that we end all violences against children, especially during this time. Let us utilize the media houses that are there. Domtil has talked about the radio stations, the 3 radio stations I always listen to, and people are very active in commenting on political issues, very active in commenting on other developmental issues, but we are forgetting child protection. We are forgetting issues of FGM. Why don't we use the same zeal that we are using in commenting on other issues political, the same zeal to also comment on our strategies of ending FGM in our county? Those are my parting shots. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Domtila, as we bring this to a close, how can people reach out to you? And if someone wants to support you as well, how can they reach out for support? Thank you.
So you can reach us at on Facebook. You can reach us at Facebook. You can do I-Rep Foundation. On Twitter, _Rep Foundation. Just look for I-Rep Foundation, Facebook, Twitter. And you can also reach out to us on our website, www.irepfoundation.org. And if you want to do an email, you can do info@irepfoundation.org.
Thank you very much. I think that's very important information, especially for someone who's watching and would like to report or support. Is there any, and this is just a public one, is there any way people could reach you faster in terms of maybe a phone call? Are there any avenues where people could reach you on the ground?
Yeah, so you can also reach me via my personal Twitter handles at C.Domtila or Facebook, Domi Chepatula, or my personal, I'm happy to share my personal contact because desperate situations call for desperate measures. 07 13 59 5732. I'll repeat, 07 13 59 5732. Thank you.
I normally don't do that, but I'm sure you're going to expect lots of phone calls from Pokot. And to you, Titus, how can people reach your organization and how can they take part in terms of responding better and also accessing the services that you're going to be providing during this moment?
Yeah, World Vision is present in West Pokot. We are present in Sekir Ward. The office is located in Marich area. That is the
All right, we are
offices in Mason and in Kasei. You can also go to World Vision website, for example, at World Vision Kenya, and then you Google West Pokot to see our work, what we are doing. I may not share much about, because World Vision is an international organization, you can easily reach out through the website of World Vision. If I may share my personal, am I allowed to do so?
You don't have to do that, but as long as people are able to access the organizations, that will be very important.
Very important, yeah.
So you're based in the place you've just said?
Yeah, Marich, M-A-R-I-C-H, Marich.
All right.
Reformed Church of East Africa.
All right, thank you very much. We just bring this to a close. We've also lost Domtila as well as the OCS. Thank you very much for joining in. Remember, this is the NFGM live show, bringing to you people from different counties talking about FGM. Asanteni sana and stay safe. Remember that we co-produced this show with Tony Mwebia from Men and FGM as well as Antonia Sophia from Zinduka. Thank you very much for joining in today. And tomorrow we will be in Samburu County getting much more information from different grassroots organizations as well as people working in that level. Asanteni sana, and we will see you when time comes. Asanteni sana and stay safe. Thank you very much again, Bwana Titus, for joining in to the end.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.